Hi, in the last video we created hexagonal grid, and it was axial hexagonal grid and has diagonal shape, but our canvas has rectangular shape, and actually this axial hexagonal grid has some flaws. For example, if we will change hexa region, it's the coordinates of our zero hexagon, we will see this picture, and we will need to create more columns to fill this space, and we will create another function. Well, we will modify draw hexes function to draw rectangular hexagonal grid. So for this, let's comment our old function and create function with the same name. Inside this function we need the same parameters, and we will need these for loops. Also we will need function hex2pixel to calculate coordinates of our hexagons, and we will need draw hexagons and coordinates. Let's use object destructuring because it's more convenient, and instead center object we will pass this point x and y, and here this point x and y. So instead these variables, let's draw hexagonal grid with rows from 0 to 4 and with columns from -4 to +4. Let's save. Let's refresh. And we don't see anything. This is because I have typo here. Okay, and let's set new origin coordinates. So we see our zero hexagon, we see columns from -4 to 0 and from 0 to 4. These are columns, and we see rows: 0 row, first row, second, third, fourth. So we need to somehow compensate this shift to right. So we'll have this hexagon here, this hexagon here, but this hexagon we need to shift to left, one place to left, then this one place to left, then this. Let's do it with if condition. So let's create if r equals 0, because we go from 0 to 4, we just draw hexagon. If r sorry, I have a typo here. If r equals 1, first row, then we type same. So let's check. Okay, it's good so far. Then if r equals 2, let's type the same. And we have the shift here. We need to shift it to the left for one position. So for this we will plus 1 here and plus 1. So let's refresh. Okay, minus 1, sorry. Okay, good. Then we need create condition for r equals 3. Let's leave the same, and it's okay. So let's create condition for r equals 4. Save. And we need to move it to the left one position. So instead of 1 we will type 2. Save. Okay, so now we need to create condition which will increment another value based on condition, and condition will be if r is odd number, then we don't increment this value here. But if r is even number, then we increment here. But we have 0, which is even number. But we see that here we don't need increment our value, so it should be 0 here. So we will create a condition which is r modulo 2 equals 0, then we will increment some value. Okay, let's create value p, which is positive, and with value 0. And here we will increment by 1 this variable. And let's create condition for not incrementing p value when r equals 0. If r equals not equals 0. So let's put this condition here because we need it only for rows, and let's delete all this stuff except one. Here we will delete condition for testing, and we will put p variable here, q minus p. Okay, let's save. Open your browser, reload the page, and we see that everything is aligned to rectangular shape. So we need to do the same for our negative rows. So here 0 row is the first row, and there will be negative -1 row. So for this we will create another 2 for loops, and here we will use n negative and we will delete this condition right now, so we can test what happens when we draw rows with negative values. So we will draw from -1 to -4, because we have drew our 0 row there. We don't need draw it here, and we'll leave columns from -4 to 4 the same. And let's create another conditions. If r equals 1, then we just draw row. Let's save, reload the page. Okay, we need to delete p here. Save. And actually we need to change this from larger or equals and decrement here, because we will start from -1 and will decrement to -4 until r is bigger or equals to -4. So let's save, let's reload. Okay, we see that we draw -1 row, but it's not aligned. It should start from here. So let's subtract 1 from column. Let's save, reload the page, and we see that instead of shifting to right, it shifts to left. So we need to use plus here. Let's save. And it's aligned, so it's cool. Let's create another condition. If r equals 2, then we do the same. Okay, it's good too. Another condition, 3. Let's save, and we have shift, and we have to shift it to one position to right. So for this we will add 2 to column. Okay, let's do it for r minus 4. Good. So for this we need pretty same condition, and also we need n variable which equals to 0, and here we need a condition r module 2 actually we need increment n value and variable only when we draw row with odd number, not even. So you see 1 odd, 3 odd, and everywhere we increment. So we need counterpart of this, not equals to 0, and we don't need here this condition. So we just n increment. So let's delete all this and these two, and we passed here an variable. So let's save. Let's reload the page. Okay, we have rectangular, shaped, axial, hexagonal grid. So these are columns and these are rows. So now we need to again calculate how many hexagons we need on the left side, on the right side, on the top and the bottom. For this we will use our old variables. We pass it here, and we will use hex origin, but instead hex width we will use hex horizontal distance. It is a distance between hexes. Actually hex width equals to horizontal distance between two axes, so there is a really so it really doesn't matter which we will use, but I will use horizontal distance because we will use vertical distance instead of hex height. So let's console log this. Save. Press F12 to open the console, and we see this is top and bottom, this is left and right, and somewhere Math round doesn't work. It's Q right side. Math round. Okay. We need a parenthesis here. Save. Well, we get same distances on left, right and bottom and top because our zero hexagon is in the center of canvas. So let's put these variables instead of our numbers. R bottom side. We draw this part, so we need bottom rows. We will pass it here, and we need to go left side. It will be here, minus Q, and Q right side. Right side will be here, and we need R top side. We need to pass it here, minus R top side. Will be this side rows. So, and we need to pass the same here and here. Let's save. Let's check. Okay, now we have our zero hexagon and hexagons around them. So now let's change position of our zero hexagon. Let's reload, and you see our zero hexagon, and we see that we don't need to create additional columns or rows, so it will be convenient in the future, I guess. Let's save, and let's use our conditions about drawing hexagons. So we need to put it here, and put it inside this condition. I used here destructuring, object destructuring instead of center object. So we need just delete this center and use X and Y. Let's save and check. Okay, we see that on the bottom side and on the right side, this bottom side have only hexagons that match our canvas, and the same we need to do for this. Let's save. Okay, let's create commit in our GitHub repository. Okay, in the next video we will create mouse move event and we will synchronize our hexagonal grid with position of mouse pointer. Thanks for watching.